Chapter 1. The Dawn of Wolves. In the shadow of ancient forests and across the windswept plains, a lineage began that would one day give rise to the guardians of the wild, the wolves. Taxonomy, the family of wolves. The wolf story begins in the vast web of life classified by humanity as the tree of taxonomy. Here, in the great house of Animalia, wolves belong to the class of Mammalia, warm-blooded beings that nurse their young. Among mammals, they find their kin in the order Carnivora, a fierce fraternity that includes lions, bears, and tigers. But the wolves, with their sharp senses and untamed spirit, belong to a unique family, the Canidae. Within this family, the genus Canis marks their immediate ancestry, a genus that includes coyotes, jackals, and the domestic dog. At the heart of this lineage lies the species Canis lupus, the grey wolf, whose subspecies stretch across continents, adapting to climates as diverse as Arctic ice and Indian plains. The grey wolf is not alone in its family. Among its kin are the timber wolves of the Americas, the tundra wolves of Siberia, and the majestic Arctic wolves. These subspecies bear subtle differences from coat color to size, but their shared traits, the sharp, intelligent gaze and haunting howl, unite them as one. Evolutionary origins, born of shadows and ice. To truly understand the wolf, one must journey back in time, millions of years before the first human gaze ever settled upon them. This is a story that begins not with wolves, but with their distant ancestors, the Miacids. Nearly 60 million years ago, in the shadows of dense prehistoric forests, the Miacids roamed. These small weasel-like creatures were the progenitors of all modern carnivores. They were swift and cunning, but their role in evolution was only the prologue. Over millennia, these creatures evolved into more specialized forms, leading to a split in the carnivorous lineage. One branch gave rise to the great felines, and the other, the one that would one day shape the wolves, became the Caniformia, or dog-like carnivores. Fast forward to the ice ages of 2 million years ago. The world was harsh, locked in a cold embrace that tested every species to its limits. It was here, amidst the tundras and towering glaciers, that the wolf began to take shape. The early ancestors of wolves, known as Euxion, were small, fox-like creatures, scavengers of a rugged and unforgiving world. Through the relentless forge of natural selection, these proto-wolves grew larger, stronger, and more cunning. They began to hunt in packs, developing not only physical prowess, but also the social bonds that would define their kind. By 300,000 years ago, the modern wolf, Canis lupus, had emerged, a master predator perfectly adapted to its environment. With powerful jaws capable of crushing bone, legs built for endurance, and a mind honed for strategy, the wolf became an apex predator. Its survival was not merely a matter of strength, but of intelligence and cooperation, a legacy it carries to this day. The link to dogs, from wildness to companionship. As the Ice Age waned and human civilization began to dawn, a curious relationship unfolded between wolves and humans. It is here that the story of the wolf branches in two directions, one that remains wild and untamed, and one that walks beside humanity. The early humans, with their sharp tools and fire-lit camps, saw in the wolf a kindred spirit. Both were hunters of the plains, relying on group tactics and endurance. Somewhere along their shared journey, a tentative truce was formed. Perhaps it began with a young wolf pup taken in by early humans and raised among them. Or perhaps it was the wolves themselves, drawn to the warmth of human fires and the promise of scraps. Over generations, a remarkable transformation occurred. The fiercest hunters became loyal companions, evolving into what we now call domestic dogs, Canis lupus familiaris. Yet, even as some wolves chose this path of coexistence, others remained in the wilderness, continuing their timeless dance with nature. Wolves across time, witnesses to the ages. The wolves have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the shifting of continents, and the evolution of countless species. They once roamed across nearly every landmass in the northern hemisphere, from the icy expanses of the Arctic to the dense forests of Asia and the wide-open plains of North America. Their adaptability made them one of the most successful predators in history. But their story has not been without strife. As human civilizations grew, so too did the conflict between wolves and humans. Wolves were hunted, their territories encroached upon, their packs scattered. Yet, despite this, they have endured, a testament to their resilience and the indomitable spirit that defines them. A timeless legacy. Today, wolves stand as both a symbol of the wild and a mirror of our own journey. Their evolution tells a story not only of survival, but of connection between species, within ecosystems, and even across time. They remind us of the delicate balance of nature, a balance that their ancestors helped shape long before humanity's first footsteps. And so, as the moon rises and their howls echo across the land, the story of the wolf continues, a story as old as time and as enduring as the wilderness they call home. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of Survival. In the vast wilderness, where the hunter is often the hunted, survival demands more than strength. It requires precision, endurance, and adaptation. Few creatures embody this truth as perfectly as the wolf. The wolf's frame, built for the hunt. The wolf's body is a masterpiece of evolution, a perfect blend of strength and agility honed by millennia of survival. Picture a wolf moving silently through the forest. Its body, lean and muscular, seems almost to float over the ground. Every step is deliberate, every movement a testament to its design. Wolves vary in size depending on their subspecies and habitat. The grey wolf, the largest among them, can stand over 2.5 feet tall at the shoulder and stretch up to 5 feet from nose to tail. Weighing anywhere between 60 to 150 pounds, wolves are built for power, but it's their efficiency that truly sets them apart. Their legs, long and sinewy, allow them to cover incredible distances, sometimes up to 50 miles in a single day, at a steady, tireless pace. At a sprint, a wolf can reach speeds of 35 to 40 miles per hour, but it is their endurance, not their speed, that makes them formidable hunters. A pack on the move is like a storm rolling across the landscape, relentless and unyielding. The eyes of the wild. Look into the eyes of a wolf, and you'll see the wilderness staring back at you. Their gaze is sharp, intelligent, and unyielding, a reflection of their keen vision. Wolves are crepuscular, most active at dawn and dusk, and their eyes are uniquely adapted to low-light conditions. A layer of cells known as the tapetum lucidum lies behind their retinas, reflecting light back and enhancing their ability to see in the dark. This is why a wolf's eyes seem to glow eerily under the moonlight. Their eye colors range from amber to gold to pale green, with some wolves exhibiting strikingly pale hues that seem almost otherworldly. These eyes are not just tools for hunting. They are a primary means of communication within the pack, capable of expressing dominance, submission, curiosity, and intent with a single glance. The wolf's coat, armor against the elements. The wolf's coat is its shield, a remarkable adaptation to some of the harshest climates on Earth. Composed of 2 layers, the dense undercoat and the longer guard hairs, their fur is both a barrier against the cold and a cloak of invisibility. In the Arctic, where temperatures can plunge to 70 degrees, the Arctic wolf's fur is pure white, blending seamlessly with the snow. This camouflage not only aids in stalking prey, but also provides insulation against the biting winds. By contrast, wolves in forests and grasslands often wear coats of grey, brown and black, mottled with lighter patches that allow them to disappear into the dappled shadows. Twice a year, wolves shed their fur, adapting to the changing seasons. In the spring, their heavy winter coats give way to lighter summer fur, preparing them for warmer months. Come autumn, the cycle reverses as their bodies ready themselves for the cold once more. The power of the wolf's jaw. No tool in the wolf's arsenal is as fearsome as its jaws. Capable of exerting a bite force of up to 1,500 pounds per square inch, more powerful than that of most dog breeds, the wolf's bite can crush bone with ease. This ability is vital for a creature that often feeds on large prey like elk and bison. Inside those powerful jaws are 42 sharp teeth, each designed for a specific purpose. The long canines are perfect for gripping and holding prey, while the carnassial teeth act as shears, slicing through flesh and tendon. Wolves are not wasteful eaters. Their jaws are strong enough to crack open bones to access the nutrient-rich marrow within. The ears that hear the world. A wolf's ears are always listening, swiveling like radar dishes to pick up the faintest sounds. They can detect the rustle of a mouse beneath the snow or the distant howls of another pack miles away. With their acute sense of hearing, wolves are always aware of their surroundings, whether stalking prey or guarding against rival packs. These triangular ears perched atop their heads are also expressive. A wolf's mood can often be read by the position of its ears, pricked forward in curiosity, flattened back in submission or fear, and held upright in alertness. The nose that knows. The eyes are the windows to the soul. The nose is the wolf's connection to the world. A wolf's sense of smell is so powerful that it can detect prey from miles away, even through thick forests or buried under layers of snow. This sense is key to their survival, guiding them to food, alerting them to danger, and helping them track the movements of rival packs. Scientists estimate that a wolf's sense of smell is 100 times more sensitive than a human's. They use scent marking not only to define their territory, but also to communicate with other wolves. Each mark tells a story: the size of the pack, the age of its members, and even the availability of a mate. The silent stride. The wolf's paws are miracles of engineering, designed to carry it across vast and varied terrains. The pads are thick and rough, providing traction on slippery ice and rocky ground. Between the toes are web-like structures that distribute weight evenly, allowing the wolf to walk on snow without sinking, a crucial adaptation for life in the tundra. When hunting, wolves move with a stealth that seems almost supernatural. Their claws, though not retractable like a cat's, are curved and sharp, gripping the earth with each step. This silent stride is one of the many reasons wolves are such successful predators. The symphony of adaptation. Every part of the wolf's body, from its piercing eyes to its powerful jaws and silent paws, is a testament to evolution's artistry. But these features are not just about survival. They are about thriving in some of the most challenging environments on Earth. The wolf's body tells a story of resilience, of a creature perfectly tuned to the rhythms of the wild. To see a wolf in motion is to witness nature at its finest. It is a creature that belongs not just to the wilderness, but to the very essence of life itself, a living, breathing reminder of the beauty and ferocity of the natural world. Chapter 3. The Heart of the Pack. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. These words, etched into the lore of both wolves and humans, hold a profound truth. To understand wolves is to understand the pack, a society as complex and enduring as the wilderness they inhabit. The pack, a family like no other. In the silence of the forest, a howl rises, long and haunting. It is not a call of loneliness, as many believe, but one of unity. The howl carries a message, a bond between creatures whose strength lies not in their size or ferocity, but in their togetherness. This is the voice of the pack, A wolf pack is a family, bound by blood and loyalty. At its heart are the alpha pair, the leaders and parents who guide the group. They are not rulers in the human sense, but rather nurturers and protectors. The alpha male and female share responsibilities, from leading hunts to raising pups, their bond unshakable amidst the trials of the wild. Below the alphas are the beta wolves, the second in command who maintain order and discipline. They are the mediators and enforcers, ensuring that the pack operates as a cohesive unit. At the bottom of the hierarchy lies the omega, often misunderstood as the weakling of the pack. Yet the omega's role is critical, acting as a peacekeeper and relieving tension through play and submission. Each member of the pack has a role to play, and their success as a unit depends on their ability to work together. It is a delicate balance of dominance and submission, competition and cooperation, a balance that ensures their survival. Communication, the language of wolves. To watch wolves interact is to witness a conversation in a language ancient and profound. They speak not with words but with their bodies, voices and scents, a trinity of communication that binds the pack together. The howl is their most iconic sound, a melody that can travel up to 10 miles in open terrain. Each howl is unique, a signature that allows pack members to identify one another even across great distances. A single wolf may howl to locate its family, while a chorus of howls is a declaration of territory, a warning to rivals to stay away. But their vocal repertoire is far richer than the howl. Whines, growls and barks convey a range of emotions from affection to aggression. A low growl might signal dominance, while a soft whine expresses submission or playfulness. Equally important is body language. The tilt of a head, the position of a tail, the flick of an ear, each movement carries meaning. An alpha wolf, tail held high and eyes locked forward, radiates authority. A submissive wolf, tail tucked and gaze averted, shows respect and deference. These unspoken signals maintain the pack's hierarchy and harmony. Scent too plays a vital role. Wolves mark their territory with urine, leaving messages for both pack members and intruders. These scent markers can reveal the age, gender, and even health of the wolf that left them, creating an invisible map of the pack's movements and boundaries. The hunt, a symphony of cooperation. Hunger drives the pack forward, their movements synchronized like a symphony of shadows. The hunt is not merely a means of survival, it is a testament to the wolves' unity and strategy. The pack's prey ranges from nimble hares to towering moose, and each hunt begins with a careful calculation. The alpha pair often lead, their experience guiding the pack toward the weakest or most vulnerable target. A flick of an ear, a glance, a subtle shift in posture. These are the commands that direct the pack. The chase is relentless, a test of endurance rather than speed. Wolves are built for the long game, their lungs and legs designed for sustained effort. As the prey falters, the pack closes in, working together to bring it down with precision. Once the kill is made, the pack feeds in order of rank, the alphas eating first to maintain their strength. Yet the hunt is not always successful. Prey can escape, injuries can occur, and the pack may go days without food. These moments test their resilience, but the pack's bond remains unbroken. Together, they face the harsh realities of the wild, their survival a collective effort. Mating and parenting, the next generation. The continuation of the pack's legacy lies in its youngest members. Mating season, a time of renewal and anticipation, begins in late winter. The alpha pair, monogamous and deeply bonded, are typically the only wolves in the pack to breed. This ensures that the pack's resources are focused on a single litter, maximizing the pup's chances of survival. After a gestation period of about 63 days, the alpha female retreats to a carefully chosen den, a secluded spot hidden from predators. Here she gives birth to a litter of 4 to 6 pups, blind and helpless, their fur a soft gray that will darken with age. The entire pack rallies around the new generation. While the mother nurses her pups, other members bring her food, standing guard over the den. As the pups grow, they begin to venture outside, curious and playful. The omega often becomes their favorite playmate. Its patient and gentle demeanor a source of joy for the young wolves. By the time they are 6 months old, the pups join the pack on hunts, learning the skills they will need to survive. The pack's older wolves teach them with care, their knowledge passed down through generations. It is a cycle of life and learning that has endured for millennia. The lone wolf, myth and reality. The image of the lone wolf, wandering the wilderness in solitude, is both romantic and tragic. In reality, wolves are social creatures, and life outside the pack is fraught with danger. Yet, there are times when a wolf must leave, often young wolves seeking to establish their own territory or find a mate. These lone wolves travel vast distances, their survival dependent on their wits and strength. Some succeed in forming new packs, their howl marking the start of a new dynasty. Others return to their birth pack, welcomed back into the fold. But for many, the life of a lone wolf is a lonely and precarious existence. The soul of the wolf. The pack is more than a group. It is a family, a community, a testament to the power of unity. Wolves teach us that survival is not just about strength, but about cooperation, that even in the wildest places, bonds of loyalty and love endure. To hear a pack's howls echo through the night is to glimpse a world of connection where every voice matters, every role is vital, and the strength of the many is greater than the strength of one. The wolf's heart beats not alone, but in harmony with its family, a song of survival that resonates through the ages. Chapter 4. Guardians of the Wild. To remove the wolf is to unravel the fabric of the wilderness. In their shadow, the rivers run clear, the forests grow tall, and the song of life echoes across the land. They are not just hunters, but architects of balance. The Keystone predator. In the grand tapestry of nature, every creature has its place, but some threads hold the fabric together. Wolves are one of these threads, a keystone species whose presence shapes the world around them in ways both profound and unseen. The term keystone species refers to organisms that have an outsized impact on their ecosystems. Like the keystone in an arch, their removal causes the structure to collapse. For wolves, this role stems from their position as apex predators, sitting at the very top of the food chain. Their predation regulates prey populations, which in turn influences vegetation, water systems, and the countless creatures that depend on them. Wolves and their prey, a dance of survival. The relationship between wolves and their prey is ancient and intricate, a dance of predator and prey that has evolved over millennia. Wolves primarily hunt large ungulates such as deer, elk, and moose. Their presence keeps these populations in check, preventing overgrazing and allowing plant life to flourish. Yet wolves do not hunt indiscriminately. They often target the sick, old, or weak, those least likely to survive the harsh realities of the wild. This selective predation strengthens the prey population as a whole, ensuring that the healthiest and fittest animals pass on their genes. It is a cycle of life and death that maintains balance in the natural world. Imagine a forest without wolves. The deer roam unchecked, grazing on every sapling and shrub. Over time, the forest thins, its undergrowth stripped bare. Without young trees to replace the old, the forest begins to fade, and with it, the countless species that once called it home. This is the silent devastation that follows the loss of the wolf. The ripple effect. Wolves and the land. The impact of wolves extends far beyond their prey. One of the most dramatic examples of this can be seen in Yellowstone National Park, where the reintroduction of wolves in 1995 transformed the landscape in ways no one could have predicted. For decades, the absence of wolves in Yellowstone had allowed elk populations to grow unchecked. These elk overgrazed riverbanks, stripping away vegetation and destabilizing the soil. Without plants to anchor them, the banks eroded, and rivers became wide and shallow, losing their biodiversity. When wolves returned, everything changed. The elk, now wary of predation, moved more frequently and avoided certain areas. This allowed vegetation to recover, and the once barren riverbanks flourished with willow, aspen, and cottonwood. These plants provided habitat for birds and beavers, whose dams created ponds that supported fish, amphibians, and insects. Even the course of the rivers changed, becoming more stable and meandering less. This phenomenon, known as a trophic cascade, is a powerful testament to the wolf's role as a shaper of ecosystems. Where the wolf treads, the land awakens, say the ecologists who have studied these transformations. Their work reveals a truth that the wilderness has always known. The wolf is not just a predator, but a steward of life itself. Wolves and biodiversity. The presence of wolves also enhances biodiversity. By controlling prey populations, they prevent any one species from dominating the ecosystem. This creates space for a variety of plants and animals to thrive, from the smallest insects to the largest predators. Scavengers in particular benefit from the wolf's hunts. Ravens, eagles, foxes, and even bears often feed on the remains of a wolf's kill. These meals are critical in winter when food is scarce. In this way, wolves support not only their own packs, but an entire community of creatures. Wolves and human landscapes. The influence of wolves is not limited to wilderness areas. In places where human activity overlaps with wolf territory, their presence can still have ecological benefits. For example, wolves reduce overpopulation of deer in agricultural areas, decreasing crop damage and limiting vehicle collisions caused by deer on roads. But coexistence is not without challenges. Livestock predation remains a point of contention, and humans often view wolves as a threat. Yet, innovative solutions, such as non-lethal deterrence, compensation programs for ranchers, and education campaigns, are paving the way for a new era of coexistence. Lessons from the wolf. The wolf's role in nature offers lessons far beyond the ecological. They remind us of the delicate interconnections that sustain life on Earth. They show us that no species exists in isolation, and that the actions of one ripple outward, shaping the world in ways we may not immediately see. In a world increasingly shaped by human hands, the wolf's presence is a reminder that true harmony lies not in domination, but in coexistence. The wilderness calls. To hear the howl of a wolf is to hear the voice of the wilderness itself. It is a call to remember the beauty and complexity of the natural world, to protect its fragile balance, and to honor the creatures that make it whole. The wolf, with its piercing eyes and tireless stride, is not just a creature of the wild, it is its guardian. And as long as the wolf roams the forests and plains, the wilderness will endure, vibrant and alive, singing the song of life. Chapter 5. Wolves in Human History and Culture. They prowl through the pages of our myths, the echoes of our stories, and the shadows of our fears. The wolf is not merely a creature of the wild, but a reflection of ourselves, a symbol of the untamed spirit we both revere and seek to conquer. A shared history. Wolves and humans across millennia. Long before the written word, before cities rose and civilizations sprawled, humans and wolves shared the same landscapes, chasing the same prey and navigating the same challenges. In this ancient world, they were rivals, competitors vying for survival. Yet they were also kindred spirits, both social, strategic hunters whose success depended on cooperation. The first flicker of connection between wolves and humans came tens of thousands of years ago, in the dim light of a fire where a wary wolf might have approached, drawn by the scent of meat. Over generations, some wolves grew closer to humans, their trust rewarded with scraps of food and a place near the warmth of the hearth. These were the ancestors of the domestic dog, the first animal to forge a bond with humanity. But even as some wolves joined our firesides, the rest remained in the wild, their howls a reminder of the untamed world we left behind. They became a mirror for humanity, symbols of both our fears and our aspirations. The wolf in myth and legend. Throughout history, wolves have loomed large in the stories we tell, embodying everything from primal fear to divine power. They are creatures of duality, both revered and reviled, protectors and predators, allies and adversaries. In Norse mythology, wolves are harbingers of the end of the world. The monstrous Fenrir, a wolf so large he could swallow the sun, is prophesied to bring about Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. Yet wolves also accompany Odin, the Allfather, in the form of Geri and Freki, his loyal companions and symbols of his connection to the natural world. In Roman lore, the wolf is a creature of salvation. According to legend, the twin founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were suckled by a she-wolf, her fierce maternal instincts saving them from death and setting them on the path to build an empire. Native American traditions often portray wolves as teachers and guardians. In many tribes, the wolf is a symbol of loyalty, wisdom, and family. Stories speak of wolves guiding lost hunters, protecting children, or teaching lessons about respect for the natural world. Yet not all tales are kind to the wolf. In European folklore, the wolf is often cast as a villain, a cunning predator lurking in the shadows. Stories like Little Red Riding Hood and The Three Little Pigs paint wolves as symbols of danger and deceit, creatures to be feared and vanquished. These narratives, born from centuries of living alongside wolves, reflect humanity's complex relationship with the predator. Wolves in art and literature. The wolf's haunting presence has inspired countless artists, writers, and poets. Its image graces ancient cave paintings, where early humans captured its essence with charcoal and ochre, as if to honor or tame the spirit of the beast. In literature, wolves often serve as metaphors for the wild, the untamed, and the mysterious. Jack London's The Call of the Wild and White Fang delve into the intersection of the human and animal world, exploring themes of survival, loyalty, and the pull of nature. Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book introduced us to Aquila, the wise wolf who leads his pack with strength and wisdom, a model of leadership and community. In modern times, the wolf continues to captivate our imagination. Films, books, and artwork depict them as symbols of freedom and wilderness, guardians of a natural world increasingly under threat. They remind us of what we have lost and what we still have the power to protect. Wolves and fear, the shadow of the beast. Despite their beauty and ecological importance, wolves have often been the targets of fear and persecution. The Middle Ages were a particularly dark time for wolves, as superstition and fear of the wild fueled their vilification. Stories of werewolves, humans cursed to transform into wolves, fed the belief that wolves were agents of evil, connected to witchcraft and the devil. In France, the legend of the Beast of Gévaudan terrified villagers in the 18th century. A wolf-like creature was blamed for the deaths of over 100 people, its story growing into a mix of fact and folklore. Such tales painted wolves as monsters, and their real-life counterparts suffered the consequences. The fear of wolves led to widespread eradication campaigns in Europe and North America. By the early 20th century, wolves had been hunted to near extinction in many regions. Their howls, once a common sound in the wilderness, became whispers on the wind. The wolf's modern role, from villain to icon. In recent decades, the perception of wolves has shifted. Where once they were seen as threats, they are now often celebrated as symbols of wilderness and ecological resilience. This transformation owes much to conservation efforts and a growing understanding of the wolf's role in maintaining healthy ecosystems. The reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in the 1990s was a turning point. The success of this project not only revitalized the park's ecosystem, but also reshaped public attitudes. Wolves became ambassadors of wild places, their presence a sign of nature's ability to heal and endure. In popular culture, wolves are no longer just villains but heroes and symbols of independence. From the dire wolves of Game of Thrones to the lone wolf in countless stories of personal growth, the wolf has become a metaphor for strength, resilience, and freedom. The lessons of the wolf. The wolf's story is deeply intertwined with our own. It speaks to our fears of the unknown, our longing for connection, and our place within the natural world. Wolves remind us of the delicate balance between humans and nature, a balance we disrupt at our peril. But they also teach us about family, loyalty, and endurance. The pack, bound by ties stronger than fear, shows us the power of unity. The lone wolf wandering in search of a home reflects our quest for identity and belonging. To truly understand wolves is to understand ourselves. They are not just creatures of the wild, but reflections of the wildness within us. A call to remember where we came from and what we must protect. Chapter 6. The Challenges. Wolves' face in the modern world. To live as a wolf in the modern age is to walk a perilous path. The forests shrink, the mountains echo with the hum of machinery, and the horizon glows not with moonlight, but the artificial blaze of cities. Yet, even in the face of relentless adversity, the wolf endures, its howl a defiant cry against the tide of change. A world transformed. Once, the world was vast, its wild places untouched, its creatures free to roam without boundaries. Wolves thrived in these expansive landscapes, their territories stretching across continents, from the icy tundras of the Arctic to the sunlit forests of the Mediterranean. But as human civilization advanced, the world changed, and the wolves' dominion shrank. The rise of agriculture marked the first major challenge for wolves. As humans cleared forests for crops and livestock, wolves found their habitats disappearing. What once were thriving hunting grounds became pastures and farmlands, guarded fiercely by farmers who saw wolves not as fellow predators, but as threats. With industrialization came railroads, towns, and cities, carving the wilderness into isolated fragments. Highways cut through ancient migration paths, and the sounds of human life replaced the natural symphony of the wild. Wolves, once rulers of untamed landscapes, found themselves confined to shrinking pockets of wilderness. Human-wolf conflict. At the heart of the struggle between wolves and humans lies a shared need: food. For wolves, livestock such as sheep, cattle, and goats are easy prey compared to the wary elk or fleet-footed deer. For ranchers, every lost animal represents a financial blow, and so wolves are often hunted, trapped, or poisoned in retaliation. In the American West, this conflict reached its zenith in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Governments offered bounties for wolf pelts, and professional hunters exterminated entire packs. By the 1920s, wolves had been eradicated from much of the United States, their howls silenced across vast swathes of the country. This pattern repeated across the globe. In Europe, wolves were hunted relentlessly, driven from countries like Britain and Ireland entirely. In Asia, expanding human settlements pushed wolves further into the mountains and deserts. Even in places where wolves were protected, illegal poaching continued, fueled by fear and misunderstanding. The shadow of extinction. The wolf, once so abundant, became a ghost of the wild. By the mid-20th century, its future seemed uncertain. Subspecies disappeared, their genetic legacies lost forever. The Japanese wolf, once revered as a divine messenger, was declared extinct in 1905. The Cascade Mountain wolf, native to the Pacific Northwest, vanished in the early 20th century. Each loss was a quiet tragedy, a piece of the natural world erased. But extinction is not always a natural process. The persecution of wolves was driven not by necessity, but by fear, a deep-seated anxiety about predators that has shaped human attitudes for centuries. Wolves became scapegoats for human problems, their wildness seen as a threat to human control. The fight for survival. Despite the challenges, wolves are nothing if not resilient. Their adaptability has allowed them to survive in environments as varied as the deserts of the Middle East and the forests of Siberia. But survival in the modern world requires more than adaptability. It requires the intervention of those who believe in their right to exist. The second half of the 20th century saw the rise of the conservation movement. Scientists, environmentalists, and even ordinary citizens began to advocate for wolves, challenging the narratives that had vilified them for centuries. Laws were passed to protect wolves from hunting, and efforts were made to restore their populations in places where they had been eradicated. One of the most famous successes was the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in 1995. After a 70-year absence, 14 wolves from Canada were released into the park. Their return sparked a remarkable ecological revival, demonstrating the profound impact wolves have on their environment. The Yellowstone Project became a symbol of hope, proving that coexistence with wolves was possible. Wolves and climate change. As if human pressures were not enough, wolves now face a new and unpredictable threat: climate change. Rising temperatures are altering ecosystems, shifting the balance of prey species and shrinking the habitats wolves depend on. In the Arctic, where the wolf is king, melting ice and changing weather patterns threaten not only the wolves, but the entire food web they inhabit. Yet wolves are survivors. In the face of these changes, they adapt, shifting their territories and hunting strategies. But their resilience has limits, and without global action to address climate change, the challenges they face will only grow. The path forward: coexistence and conservation. The story of the wolf is far from over. Around the world, efforts to protect and coexist with wolves are gaining momentum. In Europe, countries like Spain and Italy have seen wolf populations recover, thanks to legal protections and public education campaigns. In India, where wolves share the land with dense human populations, innovative strategies like community-based conservation are finding ways for wolves and people to live side by side. Technology is also playing a role. GPS collars allow researchers to track wolf movements, providing valuable data to prevent conflicts with livestock. Non-lethal deterrents such as fladry, lines of flags, and livestock guarding dogs are helping ranchers protect their herds without harming wolves. But the most important change is in human perception. As we learn more about wolves and their role in ecosystems, the fear and hatred that once fueled their persecution are giving way to awe and respect. Wolves are no longer just predators. They are symbols of wildness, resilience, and the interconnectedness of life. The howl of hope. In the distance, a howl rises, carrying over the hills and through the valleys. It is a sound both ancient and new, a voice that refuses to be silenced. The wolf, battered but unbroken, continues to roam the wild places, its presence a testament to nature's enduring spirit. The challenges wolves face are immense, but so too is their will to survive. As long as there are people who fight for their protection, as long as the wilderness endures, the wolf's story will continue. It is a story of struggle and survival, of fear and fascination, of loss and recovery. And above all, it is a story of hope, a reminder that even in a world transformed, the wild heart of the wolf still beats. Chapter 7. The Return of the Wolf. The land remembers. Where the wolf once roamed, its spirit lingers, etched into the soil, whispered in the wind, and sung in the rivers. Though driven away, the wolf never truly left. And now, in the echo of its howl, there is hope. The wilderness calls again. The story of the wolf's return is one of resilience and redemption, a testament to nature's ability to heal and humanity's capacity to change. After centuries of persecution, wolves have begun to reclaim the landscapes they once dominated, their return a signal that the wild is not yet lost. In places where wolves were eradicated, the earth itself seemed to suffer. The absence of their predatory presence allowed prey populations to swell unchecked, leading to overgrazed forests, eroded riverbanks, and diminished biodiversity. It was as though the heartbeat of the wild had faltered, its rhythm disrupted. But wolves are wanderers, and their journey back to these lands began quietly, with a single pause. From the forests of Eastern Europe to the rugged mountains of the American West, wolves began to reappear, following ancient instincts that drew them home. The role of conservation. The return of the wolf did not happen by chance. It was the result of deliberate, often controversial, conservation efforts. Ecologists and advocates, armed with a deeper understanding of the wolf's role in ecosystems, fought to restore the balance that had been lost. One of the most iconic examples is the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in 1995. For decades, the absence of wolves in Yellowstone had allowed elk populations to grow unchecked, devastating vegetation and altering the landscape. Scientists proposed bringing wolves back, a move that ignited fierce debate. Ranchers feared for their livestock, and others worried about the risks of reintroducing such a formidable predator. Despite the opposition, 14 wolves were released into the park. The impact was immediate and profound. Elk herds, now under pressure, changed their behavior, avoiding areas where they were vulnerable to wolves. This allowed vegetation to recover, stabilizing riverbanks and creating habitat for birds, beavers, and countless other species. It was a dramatic example of a trophic cascade, a domino effect that rippled through the entire ecosystem. The wolves had not only returned, they had brought the wild back with them. The struggles of reintroduction. The wolf's return has not been without its challenges. In many regions, the reappearance of wolves has rekindled old conflicts, pitting conservationists against farmers, hunters, and rural communities. Livestock depredation remains a contentious issue. Wolves, opportunistic hunters, occasionally prey on sheep or cattle, leading to financial losses for ranchers. Although compensation programs have been established in many areas, these losses can still breed resentment. In some cases, illegal killings of wolves continue, fueled by fear and frustration. Hunting interests also complicate the wolf's return. In regions where wolves compete with humans for prey species such as deer and elk, some hunters view wolves as rivals. This perception has led to calls for culling, even in areas where wolf populations remain fragile. The wolf's greatest challenge, conservationist Rachel Harris once said, is not the wilderness, it is us. We must learn to share the land, to see the wolf not as an enemy, but as a neighbor, a guardian of the balance we all depend on. Stories of success. Despite these challenges, there are places where wolves have made remarkable comebacks, their stories serving as beacons of hope. In Europe, where centuries of persecution had driven wolves to the brink of extinction, populations are rebounding. Wolves have returned to countries like Germany, France, and Belgium after long absences, traveling hundreds of miles to reclaim their territories. In Italy, the Apennine wolf, once critically endangered, now thrives thanks to legal protections and changing attitudes. In the United States, the gray wolf's recovery has been a symbol of conservation success. Once nearly extinct in the lower 48 states, Grey wolves now roam the forests of the northern Rockies, the Great Lakes region, and even parts of the Pacific Northwest. In New Mexico and Arizona, the Mexican grey wolf, one of the most endangered subspecies, has slowly been making a comeback thanks to captive breeding and reintroduction programs. These recoveries are not just victories for wolves, they are victories for the ecosystems they inhabit and the people who have fought to protect them. Coexisting with the wolf. The return of wolves raises an important question. Can humans and wolves truly coexist? The answer lies in finding balance, in learning to see the wolf not as a threat, but as a vital part of the natural world. Education plays a critical role in this effort. By teaching communities about the ecological benefits of wolves, conservationists are working to dispel myths and build understanding. Programs that involve local stakeholders, such as ranchers and hunters, have shown that coexistence is possible. Non-lethal deterrents, such as guardian dogs, electric fencing, and noise devices, are helping to reduce conflicts and foster acceptance. Technology has also become an ally in this effort. GPS collars allow researchers to track wolf movements, providing valuable data to predict and prevent potential conflicts. Wildlife corridors, designed to connect fragmented habitats, help wolves travel safely through human-dominated landscapes. The new wild. As wolves return to their former ranges, they are not just reclaiming the past, they are shaping the future. Their presence is a reminder that the wild is not something separate from us, but something we are deeply connected to. When we protect wolves, we are not just saving a species, we are preserving the balance of life itself. Picture this. It's a quiet evening in the mountains. The sun dips below the horizon, casting the world in shades of gold and shadow. In the distance, a sound rises, a lone wolf's howl, a note of resilience that echoes through the valleys. It is joined by another, and then another, until the air is filled with their song. The land listens, and so do we. The return of the wolf is not just a story of survival, it is a story of hope, of nature's enduring spirit, and of our ability to learn, adapt, and heal. Chapter 8. Wolves and the Web of Life. The wolf is more than its howl, more than its hunt, more than the shadow that moves through the forest. It is a keystone, a cornerstone, a thread in the intricate tapestry of life. To understand the wolf is to understand the symphony of nature, where every note matters and every silence speaks volumes. The keystone predator. Wolves are often called keystone predators, a term that carries profound significance. Just as the keystone in an arch holds the structure together, wolves play a critical role in maintaining the balance of ecosystems. Remove them, and the entire system begins to unravel. To see the power of wolves, one need only look to Yellowstone National Park. Before wolves were reintroduced in 1995, the absence of this apex predator had allowed elk populations to grow unchecked. The elk grazed heavily on young trees like aspen and willow, preventing forests from regenerating. Without trees, riverbanks eroded, leading to silty waters and the decline of fish populations. Birds lost their nesting grounds, and beavers, key architects of wetland ecosystems, disappeared. When wolves returned, they brought the balance back. Elk behavior changed almost overnight. Fear of predation kept them moving, preventing overgrazing in vulnerable areas. Trees began to grow again, stabilizing riverbanks and creating habitats for countless other species. Beavers returned, building dams that created wetlands teeming with life. The ripple effects of the wolves' return cascaded through the ecosystem, a phenomenon known as a trophic cascade. The wolf's presence restored harmony to a landscape that had been out of tune. The predator-prey dance. The relationship between wolves and their prey is an ancient and delicate dance, a dynamic interplay that shapes both parties. Wolves are selective hunters, targeting the weak, sick, or old. This selective predation strengthens prey populations, ensuring that only the healthiest individuals pass on their genes. It also helps prevent overpopulation, which can lead to starvation and disease. Yet the predator-prey relationship is not merely one of life and death, it is also a story of adaptation. Prey animals develop behaviors and traits to evade wolves, from the speed of the pronghorn antelope to the defensive formations of musk oxen. Wolves, in turn, refine their hunting strategies, working together in packs to outwit their quarry. This evolutionary arms race has shaped the behaviors and physical attributes of both predator and prey, creating a balance that sustains the ecosystem. Wolves and biodiversity. The impact of wolves extends far beyond their prey. By influencing prey behavior and population, wolves indirectly shape entire ecosystems, fostering biodiversity. In areas where wolves are present, plant life flourishes, providing food and shelter for insects, birds, and small mammals. These creatures in turn support predators like hawks, owls, and foxes. Rivers run clearer, wetlands expand, and forests grow denser, all because of the wolf's role in regulating the ecosystem. For example, in the Arctic, wolves play a key role in maintaining the balance between caribou and vegetation. Without wolves, caribou herds can overgraze tundra plants, leading to soil erosion and habitat loss for other species. By keeping caribou numbers in check, wolves protect the fragile Arctic ecosystem. The human connection. The wolf's influence is not limited to the wild. It extends to human communities as well. By regulating prey populations, wolves can reduce the spread of diseases like Lyme disease, which is transmitted by ticks that thrive on overabundant deer. In some regions, wolves have even been credited with helping control invasive species, protecting native plants and animals. Yet the wolf's impact on humans is not just ecological, it is also emotional and cultural. For many people, the wolf represents the wildness we have lost and the connection to nature we yearn to regain. Its return to the landscape is a reminder that we are not separate from the web of life, but part of it, bound by threads we can neither see nor sever. Lessons from the wolf. The wolf's role in the web of life offers profound lessons for humanity. It reminds us of the importance of balance, of the interconnectedness of all things. Every action we take, every decision we make, reverberates through the natural world, creating ripples that affect creatures great and small. In a time of environmental crisis, the wolf stands as a symbol of resilience and renewal. Its story is a testament to nature's ability to heal when given the chance, and to the power of a single species to shape the world around it. The wolf's warning. But the wolf also carries a warning. The ecosystems it supports are fragile, their balance easily disrupted by human activity. Habitat loss, climate change, and hunting continue to threaten wolves and the landscapes they help sustain. To lose the wolf is to risk unraveling the web of life, a loss that would echo far beyond the howl of the last pack. In the end, ecologist Daniel Rivers once wrote, "The wolf is not just a predator, but a poet of the wild, a creature whose life and death compose a story of connection, of balance, of life itself. To protect the wolf is to protect the very fabric of our planet." A symphony of survival. As the moon rises over the wilderness, the wolf's howl pierces the night, a call that resonates through the trees, the valleys, and the hearts of those who listen. It is a reminder of the intricate web of life, of the balance we are all part of. The wolf is not merely a creature of the wild, but a guardian of its harmony, a keystone in the vast and vibrant tapestry of the earth. Chapter 9. Wolves in Myth, Legend and Culture. The wolf is more than flesh and blood, more than predator and prey. It is a shadow in the moonlight, a spirit in the wind, a figure that prowls the edges of our imagination. For as long as humans have told stories, the wolf has been there, a symbol of fear, of power, of freedom. The wolf in ancient mythology. From the dawn of human history, wolves have held a place in our stories, embodying both the best and worst of human nature. To ancient peoples, the wolf was a creature of mystery, its strength and cunning inspiring awe and reverence. In Roman mythology, the wolf is a symbol of nurturance and power. The tale of Romulus and Remus, the twin founders of Rome, tells of how a she-wolf found the abandoned infants and nursed them, saving their lives. This image of the wolf as a maternal figure, fierce yet protective, has endured as a symbol of Rome's strength and origins. In Norse mythology, wolves occupy a central place in the cosmic drama. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, is both a destroyer and a harbinger of change. Bound by the gods, Fenrir is destined to break free during Ragnarok, the end of the world, when he will battle Odin himself. Yet not all wolves in Norse legend are malevolent. Geri and Freki, the companions of Odin, embody loyalty and strength, accompanying the Allfather into battle and sharing in his feast. Among indigenous peoples of North America, wolves are often seen as teachers, guides, and sacred beings. In many tribes, the wolf symbolizes family, loyalty, and survival, its presence a reminder of the balance between nature and spirit. The Nez Perce, who inhabit the northwestern United States, view the wolf as a protector, a being deeply intertwined with their cultural identity. A dual image, the wolf as villain and hero. The wolf's image in human culture is complex, shaped by the duality of its nature as both predator and protector. In some stories, the wolf is a villain, its hunger and ferocity turned against humanity. In others, it is a hero, a symbol of freedom and resilience. Nowhere is the wolf's darker image more evident than in European folklore. The wolf of fairy tales is a cunning, malevolent force, preying on the weak and innocent. In Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf is a deceiver, a predator who disguises itself to lure its prey. In The Three Little Pigs, it is a destroyer, a creature whose hunger drives it to relentless pursuit. Yet even in these stories, the wolf's role as an antagonist reflects human fears more than the wolf's true nature. The forests of medieval Europe, dark and vast, were places of danger and mystery, and the wolf, hidden among the shadows, became a symbol of the unknown. In contrast, other traditions celebrate the wolf's virtues. Among the Mongols, the wolf is a sacred ancestor, a creature of great power and wisdom. Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire, was said to descend from a wolf and a deer, a lineage that symbolized strength and balance. For the Mongols, the wolf was not a threat, but a guide, a being to be honored and emulated. Wolves in literature and art. As civilization advanced, wolves found new life in literature and art, their image evolving with the times. Writers and poets have long been fascinated by the wolf, drawn to its wildness and mystery. In Jack London's The Call of the Wild and White Fang, the wolf dog protagonists embody the struggle between civilization and the wild. Through their journeys, London explores themes of survival, loyalty, and the primal connection between humans and nature. In Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, the wolves who raise Mowgli are noble and wise, their pack a model of cooperation and strength. Akela, the pack's leader, is a figure of authority and guidance, his character a counterpoint to the chaos of the jungle. Art too has captured the wolf's essence, from the haunting sketches of wolves howling at the moon to grand paintings of wolves in snowbound landscapes. These works reflect our fascination with the wolf as a creature of beauty and danger, a symbol of nature's untamed spirit. Wolves in modern culture. In the modern era, wolves have taken on new roles, becoming symbols of environmentalism, freedom, and resilience. As their populations recover in some parts of the world, they are celebrated not as threats, but as icons of the wild. In popular media, wolves have appeared as complex and powerful figures. In fantasy stories like Game of Thrones, dire wolves serve as loyal companions and symbols of the Stark family's enduring strength. In animated films like Balto and Wolfwalkers, wolves are portrayed as misunderstood creatures, fighting to survive in a world that fears them. Wolves have also become symbols of rebellion and individuality in contemporary culture. The image of the lone wolf, a solitary figure who defies convention, resonates with those who value independence and strength. Yet the truth of the wolf's life, rooted in family and community, offers a deeper lesson about the importance of connection and belonging. The wolf as a mirror of humanity. The stories we tell about wolves are often reflections of ourselves. We see in the wolf both what we fear and what we aspire to be. Its wildness speaks to the parts of us that long for freedom, its loyalty to the bonds that hold us together. For all its ferocity, the wolf is also a creature of deep care. Its pack is its world, a family bound by ties of blood and loyalty. The wolf's howls, far from being cries of loneliness, are calls to its kin, a reminder that even in the vastness of the wild, no wolf is truly alone. The eternal howl. As the world changes, the wolf remains a constant presence in our stories, a figure that bridges the gap between the wild and the human. Its howl, echoing through forests and across generations, is more than a sound. It is a call to remember the wildness within us all. The wolf, one storyteller said, is the guardian of the old ways. When we listen to its howl, we hear the voice of the earth, calling us to remember who we are. The wolf's place in myth, legend, and culture is a testament to its enduring power, a creature not just of the wild, but of the human heart.